So I made this one lion coaster, and for a minute there, I thought I forgot how to use my own laser. I pulled it out of the machine, I looked at it, and it was one of those situations where it was not terrible, but also it wasn't what I had in my head. So I did the thing that we all do. I started tweaking. And somehow every tweak made it a little worse. And at that point, I knew I was done for the night. Not because the project was impossible, but because my eyes were totally cooked. My brain was just chasing circles at that point. So I stopped, went inside, and I thought I'll take a break. Well, I came back a couple of days later with fresh eyes though. And that is what this video is. A day in the life of a real project. And I'm only showing you the lion right now on purpose, because this was the one that almost made me quit the whole thing that night. Later, once I show you the testing and the one small change that fixed it, I will bring the other 3 out and show you how the full set turned out. I put up one of my Curious Sunday polls and asked you what you wanted to see next. And you told me loud and clear that you wanted to see more workflow inside xTool Studio. How I actually use it, how I go from an idea to a file, to testing, to something that I'm proud to hold in my hand. So that's what we're doing today. And seriously, thank you for voting and leaving your feedback. I do pay attention to all of them. Those polls are not just me being nosy. They help me decide what is worth filming next. If you're not subscribed yet, consider it. That way you catch the Curious Sunday polls and you can vote on what I test and film next. And a quick note just so nobody feels left out. I'm using xTool Studio because that's what I run with my laser. And I know a lot of you are on xTool too. But if you are on Lightburn or something else, the process I'm about to show is basically the same. Start with a baseline, test on the exact material, write things down, and of course try to make it repeatable. So instead of a dry Q&A, I'm going to show you my workflow using this project, this stone coaster set. I'm doing most of this from my desk because this is really a software workflow video. The garage clips are just the evidence. Also, it is pretty cold out there, and I think I do my best thinking when I can still feel my fingers. This started because I saw a short where someone made a real 3D laser engraving on stone. It looked amazing. Then I saw that it was done with a fiber laser. Then I saw the price, you know. Then I remember that I'm a diode laser guy. So the first workshop step happened right there, you see? When you don't have the tool that makes the obvious solution possible, you change the goal a little bit. As you might know, diode lasers can't remove stone like a fiber laser does. So I stopped trying to remove material in my head. I started trying to fake death. Not carving death, the visual illusion of it. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make your brain think it sees death. Now, here's where the second workflow problem hit me. I just couldn't find an image that felt right for this test. Usually I can grab inspiration from Pinterest, Etsy, Atom, whatever. You know, there's so much out there, but for this I actually wanted a certain vibe, a dramatic face, right, that would read like it had depth on that flat surface. So I decided to use AI Make, partially because it was built into xTool Studio, and partially because I wanted to see if it could actually help a normal hobbyist get from, say, idea to a usable file. And of course, I made a video about it if you want to check it out. So what did I do? I actually generated a set of zoo animals. A lion, elephant, rhino, panther, and a few others. And what I did there with the prompt, I selected the bas relief, it's called, the clay style look, because stone is the one material I have that can really sell that illusion. I kept the prompt very simple, and once the system generated the lion, I brought it into the canvas. I just spot checked it, chose the grayscale bitmap mode. Of course, I inverted it for the black stone and sized it to fit my coaster, which by the way was 10 centimeters or so. And of course, I wanted to use as much real estate as I could. Now, the project dictates the material. This was never going to look right on plywood, not for the 3D look that I was chasing. I thought about black acrylic, but I didn't have enough. And I knew this was going to be a testing heavy kind of project. I thought about glass, but that would have turned into a full science fair right there. Testing the image settings, the rotary, glass behavior, all at once. And, that's just too many variables. And that's how a project becomes a 3 weeks kind of science experiment that I just didn't have time for. So stone was the move. Also, I was very confident that I had a mountain of stone coasters. I have a box full, or I thought I did. Now, this is the recurring theme around here, in my workflow. Whatever material I think I need, I should always buy 2 more packs because I often underestimate how much testing will eat. And when I think I buy enough and the extra, I should just buy a little more. Stone coasters out of the box can be rough, ridges, chips, shipping damage. So I often clean them and I lightly sand them, nothing really crazy. I'm not trying to remodel the stone. I'm just knocking down the rough spots there so that the engraving's not fighting the surface. I think I use 180 or maybe 220 grit. Then I wipe it clean, just making sure there's no dust left. And of course, a quick safety note here because we're all adults. Stone dust, laser fumes, top coat finishes. You gotta wear your PPE. Open the garage door if you can. And of course, if you have an inline exhaust, run it. Now the testing. I haven't engraved stone before, so I had a decent starting feel for what might work. But this 3D style is very different. So I knew I had to test again. xTool Studio has a material library with suggested settings, including stone. So I checked them, and they felt a little weak for what I was trying to do. But I didn't ignore them. I used them the way I think most of us should use those libraries, as a baseline. Then I went ahead and built my own test grid. As you know, Studio has a material test grid utility there, but I did mine manually because I wanted the full control. I thought I knew better also. Now what I did is I duplicated the lion's head, made a bunch of copies, and laid them out in a grid. 2x2 or 3x3, whatever space I had available, that's what I used. So some I did 3, and some other coasters I did 2. Each copy got a different power and speed combo. That way I could compare apples to apples pretty quickly. And I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple of moments where I thought maybe the style is just not going to happen on a diode laser. Because the image would look close, and then one little thing would ruin the illusion, and suddenly it just looked flat again. That's the part that people often don't show. The little cycle of hope, right? Disappointment, and then stubbornness. And that's when I realized I didn't have as much stone as I thought. So I did what every hobbyist does when the material math fails. I flipped the coaster over and used the underside. I worked around the little feet, those little rubber feet, because they were glued on so well that removing them would have turned into a whole separate project though. It was not elegant, but it was effective. As always, you will find the links in the descriptions for all the materials, the lasers, and all the good stuff that I have here in the shop. Those are affiliate links, right? So if you end up using any of them, I will get a small commission, but it doesn't cost you anything extra, and it really means the world to me. So thank you for that. Somewhere in the middle of testing, I had this moment of clarity. If I don't write the settings down, I'm going to forget them. So I did 2 things. I wrote the settings on the back of the stone with a white marker, and I wrote some of my notes there on a sticky note that I'm still looking for. Looking back, I should have been smarter about how I saved the info. One thing I try to do now very often is to drop a simple text box right inside the xTool Studio file with the exact settings. And little notes that matter, right? Like what material I used, what finish was it on, and any weird tweaks I made along the way. That helps me because I can open the file weeks later and not play this game of what did I do again? And it also matters because I share a lot of my project files with my Patreon supporters. If I'm going to hand you the file, I want you to have everything you need inside it, not just the design. Because yes, and I'll be honest, my brain will often betray me later on. In my garage, after work, at midnight, I'm writing settings on the back of the coasters like it's a sticky note because I think that is actually what gets it done. Now, after a lot of tries, I eventually found the combo that gave me the best results. So it was power at 13%, speed at 240 millimeters per second. I did 160 lines per centimeter, and I just kept it at grayscale for the bitmap mode. And at that point, I felt very close. Like, finally, I'm in the neighborhood. But the results were not consistently giving me that smooth 3D illusion that I was looking for. So I tried one more small change. And to be honest, this was not even a planned trick or anything. This was me pretty much running out of ideas. I had only ever messed with the defocus for cutting, never for engraving. So this felt like a last resort type of test, not a secret pro move or something like that. And you know what? That was the part that changed everything. I did my focus like I normally do, right? The autofocus there on the S1. And then I went ahead and I lowered the focus there by 1 millimeter manually. That was it. And suddenly those gradients looked smoother. That bas relief illusion was a lot better. And that is the whole 3D trick right there. And I remember thinking, seriously? This whole emotional journey was about 1 millimeter. So I made the lion. And that is where I actually stopped for the night. I was frustrated. I was cold. It was late. I was just totally done. Days later, I came back to do the other 3 coasters. I was excited, but I had a weird feeling. I tried doing the elephant, the rhino, and a panther. And like I said, I came in feeling good, but also like, okay, we'll see. I had the settings. I had the process. I thought this should go easier this time, but again, I'm in the shop. So I set up xTool Studio. I load up my material, hit start, and I'm watching it run thinking, well, this should be it. Once the laser finished, I pulled out the coaster, and it is not terrible, but it's not right. It looked okay. It just didn't have that 3D feel like I got with the lion just a couple of nights before. And in like 5 seconds, my brain went straight to, wait, what's going on here? Did I mess up the file? Did the stone change? Did I forget something? Or am I officially losing my mind? It was just weird. But again, that's what's weird about testing, right? You finally get a win, right? You think you got it. You're thinking, I'm done. Then the next run totally humbles you instantly. So I went back through everything. I checked my settings again. I checked the file. I checked the material. And eventually hit me. I totally had forgotten the most important step. I forgot to lower the focus. See, that is the difference between knowing a setting and having a workflow. Once I remembered to drop that focus, everything snapped back. And I eventually finished the set of 4. All right, so here's the payoff. These are the other 3. This is the elephant, the rhino, and the panther. I follow the same process, the same workflow, the same lessons, just the different animals. And, seeing them all together is what I think is the best part. It just proves that it was not luck. It was the process. See, once I had the results locked in, the coasters were done. I was satisfied. The next question was, am I happy with this look? Or can I do something else? See, with stone, you can stop at the engraving and basically call it done. Or you can take an extra step and then change how it looks and how it holds up. And that is where I always end up in the same debate every time I do stone. Now, lacquer is a polarizing topic in the laser world. Some people just love the raw stone. Some other people like the engraving to pop. And I did test it that way here too, engraving on pre-lacquer stone. See, neither was perfect, but both were good enough that I would make them again. And of course, the key lesson here is very simple. Always test on the exact finish you plan to use, not something similar. Failure is just part of the process. I expect it. Most of what I do there in the garage is just experimenting. It's the same thing you do. And honestly, this is why I like it so much. If it was always easy, I would be done in 10 minutes and then I would be bored. Testing just helps me stay focused, and I need it. It keeps me curious, and every mistake is annoying in the moment, but very useful later. You take breaks, you regroup, you analyze, you try again. And when it works, you didn't just make a coaster. You pretty much earned a new skill. All right, so like I said, I know that this is a very polarizing topic. So the question for you is, are you team raw stone or team lacquer? And tell me why. Share with me in the comments. So that is the story behind these coasters, and that is my real workflow in xTool Studio. Not perfect, not fancy, but very repeatable. If you don't want to get into the whole lacquer debate down in the comments, just let me know what you're working on right now and what part of the workflow is the one that gives you the most troubles. All right, my name is Alex. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.